Was Jesus a false prophet, or was Jesus simply a liar? A passage that forces people into making this conclusion is where Jesus tells his followers that some of them who standing here won't see death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. This verse is in several places. Let's start with Matthew chapter 16, verse 28. Assuredly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Mark chapter 9, verse 1. And he said to them, assuredly I say to you, that there are some standing here who will not taste death till they see the kingdom of God present with power. Luke chapter 9, verse 27. But I tell you truly, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the kingdom of God. So we see this occurrence of this story is explicitly stated in all three synoptic gospels. When reading this, we know that all of Jesus' followers at that time died. The question at hand is, when did some of the disciples see the kingdom of God? One way we can address this problem is that if you look at Matthew 16, Mark 9, and Luke 9, is that the story that precedes after this quote is the Mount Transfiguration. So let's read Mark chapter 9. Let's read this cohesive story because remember, our modern Bible has verses and chapters. But the Bible didn't originally come in chapters and verse divisions. So when we read this, we should read it as a flow, as a cohesive story. Mark chapter 9, verse 1 through 8. And he said to them, assuredly I say to you, Jesus speaking, that there are some standing here who will not taste death till they see the kingdom of God present with power. Now after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up on a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His clothes became shining exceedingly white like snow, such as no laundry on earth can whiten them. And Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, is it good for us to be here? And let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Because he did not know what to say, for they were greatly afraid. And a cloud came and overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud saying, this is my beloved Son. Hear him. Suddenly, when they have looked around, they saw no one anymore, but only Jesus with themselves. Peter, James, and John were able to see a glimpse of the kingdom by seeing Jesus' glory, shining bright like the sun, clothed in white, and the Father speaking from heaven by saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. When you look and study, it's obvious by the surrounding context that the glory in the kingdom being talked about is the Mount of Transfiguration. And who are some of the disciples who seen it? Peter, James, and John. And they were able to see the kingdom because they were able to see Jesus' glory.